Look at this. Excessive ink on there. Total ink smear. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's another beautiful day to bill search. Let's go through some loose pocket money that I've built up over the last day or two and see if we can find anything worth more than face value. Let's start off with this 2017 series $1 note. I like to look around the serial numbers, see if there's anything fancy or pattern-like in them. Issues with print with the seals, the federal indicators, the plate numbers, series date, and other annotations on the note. And I like to keep an eye out for just major errors and stuff like that. If it's misaligned, miscut, if there's some sort of gutter fold or major ink error, then I'll definitely hold on to the note. I also like things like replacement notes and birthday serial numbers and fun dates and things with print and stuff like that. So let's get to it. Nothing on the front there. Some 9s, but nothing going on the serial number. Lots of damage to this. Don't be confused by that. It's hard to tell on the camera, but this looks like ballpoint pen, so I knocked the bill all over the place. And it's really damaged, so hard to tell on the back of the note around the all-seeing eye and the unfinished pyramid here, and the other portion of the Great Seal. If there's anything collectible, old as can be, 2006 series, so not old as far as years, but as far as currency is concerned, they say that $1 notes should only last about 10 years or so. This thing's been wet. You can just tell right off the rip with the way it's thinned out, all the waviness in it, and then if you could feel it, it's super thinned out. All this discoloration's due to being wet at some point, then drying out, and sometimes you'll even see blue, kind of a blue ink tone transferred to it. That's when someone has a bill folded up in their pocket in a pair of blue jeans and it gets wet. Only difference in this $1 note and ones later on are going to be the signatures on it. And then I've noticed between older notes and newer notes, older as in kind of early 2000s and before, through the 90s and stuff, the ink tone, the tone of the ink here, primarily noticeable in the serial numbers and the treasury seal, is slightly lighter green. Going to the back of the note. And too beat up to really tell if anything's going on, so I'll move on. Hey, nice little star note. I love replacement notes. They're shown with the star on the end here. Essentially, something happened during production of usually the sheet of notes that this, the original one would have been printed on, and then it's replaced with this star note to keep continuity within the stack. So they replace, the serial number generally doesn't match, and the end here, instead of having a letter that would correspond to what portion of the block the original note was printed in, it'll have a little star. That'll show that it was a replacement. This one I wish had a little bit better pattern, and it has a little bit of a stuck digit here with the 8-1 sitting a little higher. So we'll call it a stuck digit star note, but it's not dramatic enough to really call it an error star note or anything like that. Stuck digit notes are where the serial number generally is stuck up or down due to a lack of lubrication in the little dial that prints the serial numbers. This one's really cool though, so I won't complain. Pretty decent condition compared to the other ones so far. And a little wetting transfer on the back, but that's pretty normal. So I'll set that aside because I like it. Lots of 7s. 7-3, 7-3 on the end. Would have been cool to have like 7-2, 7-2, 7-3, 7-3, or just all 7-3s for a repeater fancy serial number. Those are really sought after by serial number collectors and just banknote collectors. This one's pretty beat up. You can see folds that look almost like scars on Washington's face. Series 2021, but cool serial number, not collectible enough for me to hold on to. Little bit of an excess ink. It looks almost like a thumbprint. Sometimes if it's laying over the top of stuff, it's a wet ink transfer from when they cut the bills and then prematurely stack them before they dry. And you can tell here it's very clearly the collar of Washington's coat. If it's super dramatic, I'd hold on to it. 2017 series, Kind of neat. You can see a little wet ink transfer there right on his nose. Looks like he's got a bloody nose almost. That's really cool. I've actually never really seen one come through like that. I almost want to call it my own new little find, a bloody nose Washington. Check that out, though. Really interesting how the ink smeared on that one. I wouldn't say it's an error. You can correct me if you think it's a little bit more of an error, but I think it's kind of a print error. I mean, you got ink coming right out here. It's probably excess ink from that end there, from the back, but really neat. I'll kind of set it aside as a small find. I think it's neat. 2017 series. Nothing else jumping out on the front. Back of the note. Nothing crazy, but I'll set it aside. It's kind of neat. Yeah, nothing in the serial number. 2017 series as well. Hey, look at this. Excessive ink on there. Total ink smear. Nice. Found ourselves, this is a great little bill search. Star note, a little bit of a bloody nose Washington, then a clear as day little ink smear. Let me know what you think about that. You can see how it's supposed to be printed, but that is clear as can be. A nice ink smeared note. I am loving this bill search. One of the best so far of the year, and we're only in the beginning of February, guys. I love that. Set that. Oops, sorry. Look at the back of the note. Getting a little too excited, jumping ahead of myself. Nothing on the back, but I mean, that is clear as can be. Look at that. Nice. I am going to get that in a top loader. I'll link some good top loaders. I think they're either BCW or Ultra Pro brand. They're like 12 bucks, maybe 20 for a bigger stack. But I'll link those that I've been using for a long time, and you guys can pick those up. Those work really well to protect your notes. 2017 series. Nothing going on the serial number. It's probably the best condition $1 note so far. I am psyched about that one we found, though. That was a good little minor ink smear there. This one's actually damaged. It looks like it would be ink transfer, but you can tell this note was wetter. I can tell because of the wrinkling in the middle. And that discoloration's from, like, dirt. A little bit of writing on the wall. 50 bucks. Somebody had at one point. Oh, kind of cool. 2009 2244. Would have been nice to have more repetition or even a kind of out of order date note. Close but no cigar. Series 2009. Nothing on the back. 2017A. Huge print amount in that series. G for Chicago. Nothing going on the serial number. Okay condition. Worth $1, that's for sure. Little bit of excess ink. Unless it's like the whole outline of Washington. I don't really call them collectible. Lots of 6s, lots of 7s. Nothing jumping out on the front. Back of the bill. This is just damage. It's hard. At first you'll think in the camera it's like ink. It actually looks like a little pinhole, like somebody pinned it to a corkboard or something. 2013 series. If you do find, speaking of replacement notes like the one we found, if you find replacement notes from 2013 that are star notes, a lot of them can have duplicates. There was a goof up at the Bureau of Printing, and they produce duplicates of those in a lot of regards. So there's a lot of them out there. There is a duplicate website that I'll link. I have no affiliation with it, but it's been around forever. I think it's called like 2013 Project or something. Somebody else commented it in another video, if I can talk, and it's really cool. So check it out. Reverse the note. Nothing going on there. Hey, nice little 50. Hey, a birthday note. I mean, it's not a U.S. date, you know. The U.S. hadn't formed yet, but July 30th, 1189. 1189 is really an interesting date if you're a history buff. I mean, it was the beginning of a couple different kings around the world, their coronations, but also the beginning of the Third Crusade, which was essentially a failure. But also the death of King Frederick Barbarossa. So really interesting history stuff going on. Essentially, dude starts the Third Crusade along with a couple other people and then dies like 9 months later. So you wouldn't even see the end of it, which isn't too saddening, I guess, because it failed. I wouldn't call that collectible. I like to hold on to date notes or birthday notes if they are in, well, in U.S. History, but also if they're like an actual birthday note, 1989, I would have probably held on to that. But otherwise, 50 bucks, biggest bill I've had in a while. Zeros, twos, threes, fours, kind of cool. Quasi broken ladder $5 note. Decent condition 2021 series. Keep an eye out around all the little, annotations for the federal indication numbers and little letter here, as well as around the plate numbers on the front and then on the back down here on fives. Like you saw on the one that I am super excited about, you can find ink smears. Ripped up $5 note. Moving on, a little bit of writing going on. Somebody had 75 bucks. Good for them. Probably went right to a bill like the rest of us. Series 2017A. Nothing really going on in the serial number. Some fives. Back of the note. Cool depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, but nothing really going on. So we'll move on. Getting down there. Last two. Thanks for sticking with me in this bill search. A little longer than I intended on it being, but I had some fun definitely finding some stuff. Cool little stamp note. I love notes with stamps on them. I know it actually detracts from value due to condition, but I like stamp notes. But this one's kind of just some funky stamp. I can't even really tell what that is. Something. You let me know what you think that says. Reverse. Keep an eye out around the repetitious fives. They form a little constellation, so to speak, called Orion. But it's an area for it's an anti-counterfeiting measure, but an area where kind of ink issues can arise. Holy nines. Lots of nines going on in this $10 note. Really clean. Probably one of the better condition also of this bill search. Nothing jumping out in the serial number though. Series 2017A. Going to the back. Keep an eye out around kind of where a lot of intricate detail is printed for ink issues and misprints, various things of that nature. Nothing going on there. So what did we hold on to? I am super excited about this bill search. We'll get to that one last. This one is just kind of goofy and fun. Little kind of bloody-nosed Washington, little minor ink issue going on there. As you know from watching my videos, I love me some star notes. I will definitely hold on to any replacement note. I'll look this one up and put some info in the description box for some more information on this specific star note serial number. And then definitely the big find of this bill search, and really lately, of the year so far, is this ink smear error, which I am super excited about. I'm going to put it in a top loader even though it's a little beat up. I want to keep the condition as it is, but let me know what you think about this little ink smear. I know it's smaller, but I've seen them sell for good money over face value. Let me know if you can find some examples of one similar to this and help me out in finding a more apt value of what it sold for. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you've come across in your coin and banknote searches lately as well. I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.